Hello everyone, very warm welcome once again to StudyIQ IAS English channel. I am your educator Praveen Mishra and let's start the very burning topic for the day. As you can see on your screens, it's about the country of Hungary, which has actually banned the LGBT pride events. Before entering into the topic, let's just discuss some of those elements of the society that are untouched. That are untouched not because they are unreachable. They are untouched because the society still thinks that it is a topic not to be discussed as it is unethical or illicit or could be illegal as well. Europe, Europeans, as considered one of the most advanced societies, one of the most advanced race of this globe. But still, the whole of Europe, not just Hungary, including Poland, including England, including any other European nation, they do still face a backlash of being stereotype or orthodox when it comes to identification of the homosexuality. Identification as well as legitimizing the homosexual groups. So that tells us that physical infrastructure is not just the parameter that you must look for when it comes to identification of the growth and development of every nation, of any nation basically. Though Europe has performed exceptionally well when it comes to their physical infrastructure, but as we can see with this line, it states that yes, Europe is far behind in the concept of social infrastructure, right? Now, taking up the whole scenario. Is being a homosexual wrong? If I am a homosexual, if I am a gay, a lesbian, or a transgender, or whatsoever from the LGBT community, is it a fault? Let's dig up the answer. No, never. Not at any cost. Not in any sense, it's not a crime. It would have been a crime if the feelings would be fabricated or if the feelings would be artificially inducted. Then only we could have stated it as crime. But once again, feelings, they are gifted to me, they are gifted to you by Mother Nature itself. That is simply speaking in religious terms, by the Almighty God. And as it is always stated, it's the humans who can commit mistakes. It's not the God who can commit mistake, right? So when the feelings are given to me, the feelings induced inside me, it is by God, it is by nature. And when I only say that God can make no mistake, then how can I state that homosexuality is a crime? Isn't it simply the hypocrisy? Isn't it simply the case of hypocrisy? Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is. And coming back to the concept of the European societies, they have performed very wonderful, good, beautiful lanes, good, lavish, luxurious buildings, luxurious cars, good per capita income, good GDP, etc., blah, blah, blah. But what about this one? If you say, okay, they have performed in other parameters quite well, but this is just one, and why am I criticizing Europe with this just one particular element? This is not just one particular element. This is about the identification of a group. This is about the identification of the human rights that are guaranteed to us by the nature, that are guaranteed to us by the organization, the biggest organization of this globe, that is United Nations. 10th of December 1948. United Nations Declarations on Human Rights came forward that provides the first line of the Human Rights Declaration of the UN of 10th of December 1948 starts with equality. And where is equality when such things can happen? Hungarian parliament has now passed a law that will impose a penalty of 500 euros on any individual who will be involved in promoting or organizing any sort of pride events related to LGBT community. They have also stated that the cameras will be used to identify the persons involved in such acts and they will be penalized. Why? What's wrong in that? Yes, we have to understand that the evolution of society is a gradual process. But 2025, society is evolving since centuries and centuries. And I think now the time has come to admit them that they are also humans, and being the human, by virtue of being a human, they also deserve equality of opportunity, justice, freedom, liberty, and everything that you have, that I have, that we have. Right? So coming to the point here, the whole news, Hungary deepened its repression of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. On March 18, as the parliament passed a draconian law that will outlaw pride and similar events, thereby penalizing public support for the entire LGBT people in the country. The law, which curtails the rights of assembly when it pertains to supporting the LGBT rights, okay, and a fine of 500 euros, right? This is not a small amount. This is something which should be taken in concern. The law is also the Hungarian government's latest move. It is the latest move to scapegoat the LGBT people. But it is the latest, not the first move. The first move was performed in the year 2021, when the very same government adopted a repressive law banning the portrayal and promotion of the LGBT to the children. And this resulted into the condition that the EU Commission put a case against the Hungarian parliament, and they were asked to be presented in front of the EU Court of Justice. 4.5 years later, still today, no such judgment, no such particular proceedings have taken place against the Hungarian government. So even the EU Court of Justice is the toothless tiger, or just a mute and deaf spectator, kind of. What's the stand of Europe that we have discussed? Now, what's the stand in India? See, before entering into the rest of the topics, I would just like to state something. Something that is legally admissible is not always socially admissible, and vice versa. That is, something that is always socially acceptable could not be always legally acceptable. Like, for example, say I'm not promoting anything. I am someone who stays away from these things, and I also promote this, that to stay away from such type of things. That is liquor, right? Liquor in India, talking just about the Indian society. Liquor in India is legal. The sale, purchase, consumption, production of liquor is legally permitted. You just need the license for the purpose of sale and production, right? Though no such license is required for the sale for the sake of consumption. But it is not everywhere socially accepted. And let's make it a vice versa event. Same way, LGBT community in India is legally admissible. They have been given the legal status, they have been also provided the legal safeguards. But the problem is, still today, it is not socially accepted. Though yes, it is the time to praise the government and the judiciary that they have provided the legal safeguards as well as the legal verification to them as well. But yes, it's still the society that is yet to accept it. Though, as I stated a couple of minutes back, that the change or the growth of the social infrastructure is a gradual process. And India, once again, no doubt in that, the Indian society, we are accepting this change. Slow and steady, but yes, we are. I'm not saying that we have accepted it totally, absolutely not, and we will not be able to accept it in the next upcoming decades or maybe more. But yes, at least we have taken up the initiative. At least we have taken up the first step. And yes, the first step has obviously come from the judiciary as well as the legislative wing, that is the government as well, right? And now discussing about some of the cases related to the LGBT community in India only, that are very much important from your prelims as well as mains, as well as your personality test round, that is known as popularly interview. So the very first case that is in front of us is the NAS Foundation versus the government of NCT of Delhi 2009. as you can see on the screens, it is written that it was the very first case wherein Section 377 of the IPC was held unconstitutional, as it discriminated against the LGBT community of the country and violated their privacy as individuals. Right? So the Court of Delhi, that is the Delhi High Court, clearly stated it that yes, Section 377 violates the fundamental rights to 14, Article 14, Article 15, as well as Article 21. Article 14 says that right to equality, or the equality before law. Each and every individual is equal in the eyes of law. Each and every individual states, Article 14 states this, is equal in the eyes of law, regardless of its religion, caste, custom, color, as well as sex or the sexual orientation. Okay. On the opposite side, Article 15, not on the opposite, sorry, on the other lines here. Article 15, right against discrimination only on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. And when it talks about sex, sex also here just implicitly explains the sexual orientation. Whether I am a straight person or someone from the LGBT community, that doesn't make any difference. My caliber, my capacity, my staminas, my talent should be taken into the picture, not my sexual orientation, apart from the other things like religion, caste, and so on. Right? So that was the case, NAS Foundation case, okay, popularly known as the NAS Foundation case, and in exact, NAS Foundation versus the government of NCT 2009. Okay. So the judgment was restricted to adults when Section 377 also applied to minors. And Section 377 had permitted the harassment of the LGBT people in law as well. Okay, so that was a very brave step by the High Court, Honorable High Court of Delhi. But things were not done yet. This whole picture changed, this whole picture will change in just one slide, as you can see. Suresh Kumar Kaushal case of 2013. Unfortunately, as I stated, the whole picture will change in just one slide, and it does. The Supreme Court overturned the previous judgment by Delhi High Court of 2009 and that decriminalized the homosexuality. And Supreme Court stated that yes, Section 377 is still a criminal offense. A battle long to be fought, a very long battle to be fought, right? 2009 it was decriminalized and 2013 it was criminalized again. So Supreme Court argued that in 150 years less than 200 persons has been prosecuted under Section 377, and therefore the plight of sexual minorities could not be used as argument for deciding constitutionality of a law. And further, the court stated that let the legislature look into the desirability whether to delete, omit Section 377 or not, right? So NAS Foundation case, it was decriminalized. Suresh Kumar Kaushal case 2013, it was criminalized once again. And let's change the picture once again with just one click here. Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017. This was another landmark event. The Supreme Court ruled that fundamental right to privacy is an intrinsic part of life and liberty, and thus Article 21 will be always present with the LGBT community. And hence the Supreme Court declared that bodily autonomy was an integral part of right to privacy. That means it's my body. I am the master of this body. It will be me who will be deciding whether to share this body with someone or not. And if I have to share, then to share with whom? It will be my sole choice, according to my natural feelings. And once again, make no mistake, the feelings are induced naturally, hence it is gifted to me by God only, by my Almighty God. I call it as Ishwar, Allah, Jesus, Vaheguru, whatever. Okay? So, Justice Puttaswamy case provided once again the legal safeguards to the LGBT community. But the things are not done yet. Another thing, the last coffin, the last nail in the coffin came with Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India case 2018. It decriminalized homosexuality, dismissed the position taken by the Suresh Kumar Kaushal case of 2013 that the LGBT community constituted a minuscule minority, and so there was no need to decriminalize homosexual sex, right? Simply speaking, going ahead with the timeline, Nas Foundation case, it decriminalized. 2013, Suresh Kaushal case, criminalized once again. 2017, Justice Puttaswamy case, it was provided with the legal safeguard, but no decriminalization was done. But in 2018, Navtej Singh Johar case versus Union of India. Okay, homosexuality was decriminalized totally, right? And LGBT community were now on the verge of getting the legal statutory protection, yes, but also along with protection, the recognition, right? And the last thing that we need to discuss, the National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India 2014. It provided the legal protection and recognition to the transgenders. Before 2014, if I was about to fill any form, call it the form of any institution, private or government, or any examination, private or government, okay, I was asked about my gender. And the options used to be male and female. But after the NALSA versus Union of India case 2014, now there is also a scope of third gender as transgender. Okay, so they were also granted reservations in admission to education institutions as well as the jobs, right? So a battle that started in 2009 finally ended in 2017. Started with the Nas Foundation case and ended with Justice Puttaswamy case. So many ups and downs were witnessed by our LGBT community people, but they never lost hope. And finally, they won. It's a motivation as well. You keep going and you will win. That's the assurity by the God itself, by the nature itself. Keep going, you will win. Do not quit. You will only lose the day, the moment when you have said that you are quitting. But the moment you have decided that no, I'm not a quitter, I'm a winner, you will win for sure. And the LGBT case is the best example, one of the best example for it, right? So finally, the transgenders, they have also got the legal recognition as well as the safeguards, and so the other homosexual communities, right? So this is what the whole scenario is, and there are a few things to be discussed. Like for example, from perspective of prelims or in perspective of prelims and mains, we have got something to be discussed that is known as Yogyakarta principles. Please guys, underline this thing very carefully. Yogyakarta principles. What are these principles basically focusing on? It is directly related to the LGBT community. Okay, or the, in short, homosexual. So it recognizes the freedom of sexual orientation and gender identity as part of the human rights. What rights? Human rights. They were outlined in the year 2006, okay, in Yogyakarta principles, in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, by distinguished group of international human rights experts. So guys, please remember, please make it clear, Yogyakarta, where it is in Indonesia, okay. So this is what the factors they are. So Yogyakarta principles, Yogyakarta, that is location in Indonesia, okay, the year 2006, and it is followed and implemented by India as well. Has India followed Yogyakarta principles? Yes. Now we are absolutely following the Yogyakarta principles. That is, we are providing all and absolute recognition as well as protection to our LGBT community. Right, everyone? So I hope everything is crystal clear. If there is anything you need to discuss, please do let me know into the comment section. And in the very next one, firstly, we will be eliminating your doubts, your issues, and then proceeding with the chapter. Okay, guys? So thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to like the video and do share it with your friends and family as well. Bye-bye. Take care. See you all in the very next one. Jai Hind.